set professionals like you apart is the ability to upskill and the strength of your network. And trust me, this is isn't the just the op- this is this isn't the optional. This isn't optional for you. It will be the survival skill for future construction leaders. My objective today is to highlight why these are very essentials, upskilling and networking, and how can we actively embrace them. The future trends in construction project management will talk about digital transformation, the rise of tools as you see like BIM, artificial intelligence, digital twins is revolutionizing the entire workspace of construction. BIM, for instance, enables the projects to better collaboration, predictive analysis. Digital twins is allowing us to stimulate scenarios and optimize performances even before breaking the grounds. But remember, technology is not just about tools, it's about mindset. So leaders in the future must embrace data-driven decision making and invest in learning these technologies. Second, sustainability. It is a game changer. The regulations have become stricter. Clients are demanding greener projects. Professional needs to understand carbon neutral construction, life cycle assessments, and the use of eco-friendly materials. These are forming the sustainability basics. What you would be also knowing is that the construction industry accounts for close to 39% of the global carbon emissions. And as a project manager, it is on us as a community to lead the charge in designing and executing sustainable projects. Third, globalization and diversity. Globalization is shaping how we work today, right? The projects today evolve diverse teams spread across continents, cross-cultural communication and collaboration. These are no longer nice to have. It has become must to have. So what are the skills that it would lead to? Technical skills, which we know to strive, that's the future for it. So you need to hone your technical skills, build them as one of the greatest pillar, because digital proficiency, especially in data analytics, is critical. Emerging technologies are requiring professionals to analyze the trends, interpret data, and implement solutions. Soft skills, this in combination with technical skills will set you apart and become more competitive. Today, complex projects require leaders who can navigate uncertainty and inspire teams. And these soft skills like leadership, adaptability, and communication has to be strengthened. Third, sustainability. I mentioned about the trend. So what we are talking about is sustainability has become a core competency today. Whether choosing materials with low environmental impact or optimizing energy use, project managers must have a solid grasp on what these green principles are. And last but not the least, networking and collaboration. The ability to network, collaborate, work with diverse teams is the vital, is the center stone, right? So strong relationship with your teams, architect teams, engineering teams, your clients, your partners will give you better results. That is as simple as that. So how do we prepare ourselves is the question today. Upskilling, is a lifelong journey. That's what I would describe it as. What we would look at from upskilling is that pursue certifications, pursue some degrees which will give you competencies in projects, project management, green building standards. That's something like an ask today from all the leadership who are in business and construction. Take advantage of online platforms, short courses, nuggets learning, targeted courses which you can, and take and seek out for mentors who can help you, guide you through your career challenges. Now, that is one part of it in terms of upskilling. The next two parts are networking, building a network for yourself. So networking becomes very important, and engaging communities. These are very similar, but I would say building a network would mean that you attending industry events, participating in panels, and going out and stretching your boundaries, breaking that soft skill in terms of being shy, going boldly and crossing that lines and making your connections. And that's a very, very strong skills that you have to learn and inherit, and mentors will help you do that. Third one, in terms of engaging community, once you have risen and are growing within your roles as senior leaders, engaging with community becomes very important, because there is only little time that you have to learn, right? And read and understand. But it is always seen. I mean, I've spent so many years in PMI. What I've seen is that when you are engaging with communities, you get more back. So the more you're giving to the community, sharing your insights, mentoring others, writing about your experience, so you will get more back. You will learn more, is what I have heard from a lot of volunteers here. Okay. So thought leadership is not only strengthening your brand, it is also having meaningful connections. This is some, I would like to take some time here to share what PMI has got to offer from for construction project managers. On the left-hand side, we have certifications, and these criterias in applying to these certifications are different. And we'll share these details with you through the network. On the right-hand side, you have courses. So we have developed these small courses, bit-sized courses, looking at the Gen Z who would like to uh, learning from small bits, and specific skills that you want to hone from. So on the first course which I want to talk about to make a mention about here is about the new partnership that we have with Oracle. And we tied up with Oracle to learn about their tools and how digital skills can be inherited by our professionals to understand more about digital construction as a practitioner. And today, of course, we have Tony, a leader with us, who's going to talk about interface management, and that will be a very interesting topic. One last thought I want to leave behind is all these courses that you see here have been researched, like all of our courses are researched, have been created through practitioners for practitioners, as in by the leaders of the industries who have identified the pain areas, the bottlenecks which come across in their day-to-day project management, program management, and the challenges that they face. And we identified these bottlenecks and these skill set and created course on that. And trust me, to the 17,000 plus certified people right now in construction professional CP, I have heard only one clear thing, that it is relatable. It is so relevant. And you will hear that again and again in the market. So please consider these as learning stepping stones for your career, and whichever role you are in the market of construction. What we have also done is that we have laid out a kind of a career path. On the bottom here, on the left hand side, construction professionals, people who have 3 years plus experience and overall 10 years in construction project can look ahead for seeking to going for a certifications like a CP. And if the person wants to build up their skill further, can look out for senior certification. And on the right hand side, it gives you a walkthrough of the prerequisites, that these are the 4 courses that they need to appear for and learn from before you go in for these certifications. So you have these 4 courses, you complete them, and you have an eligibility, and then you can sit for this examination. We'll take more questions at the end of it, but I just wanted to put this in front of you that we have studied a lot of these courses to finding out why it fits, how it is relevant, and also prioritized it and given a pathway in terms of which courses that you should look ahead for in whatever role you are currently at. So we can really place it for you so that you can take a step which is helping you to build your roles too. Here I wanted to speak about and share my thoughts on how it would add value. CP would add value for businesses. Very clearly, what I can state is your projects will get predictability. If you're looking ahead for building skilled project managers who would build predictability within your projects, which is much needed today in the complexity that we have, which I just spoke about in terms of how it is increasing. It also gives you recognition in front of your customers. When you're bidding for contract, it becomes a sense of recognition to having certified team in your project management, right? And last but not the least, it obviously in fact impacts the business outcome. So it delivers total value to businesses to have skilled construction project manager, and CP is one of the options that you should seriously look at to build in within your team. And this is my last thought for today from a networking standpoint. This is a very strong skill, and I'm very, very proud and very happy to introduce PMI Kerala Engineering and Construction Forum. Like our chapter members mentioned, Joji and Nishad mentioned, that this is the second webinar that we are doing. We would do a series of knowledge webinars so that you can come and take advantage of the knowledge volunteers are sharing with you. And that's the mission with which Kerala chapters leaders are taking a forefront to it. It got launched one month back. It has taken a great leap, and it has got so much deliverables in front of you. So all that you can look forward for is to learn, contribute, and learn again, right? So with that, I would like to leave back 2 thoughts for the construction project managers who are there. Though I have talked about a lot of challenges and scenarios which are building up and has been there in terms of technology, sustainability, all these, how do you factor them and how do you face them? I would say that the future for construction project management is very, very bright, but it demands proactive actions to be taken by individuals, teams, organizations to build capabilities to build capabilities so that we give better outcomes, meaningful outcomes. And of course, the thought is very clear that upskilling and networks, these are the two things which will not only let you survive, but also thrive in this competitive landscape. So what you do is just think of one area starting today that I would like to improve in terms of skill. Think about one person that I would like to go and network with, would I like to connect with. And these two things will at least give you that start, and you have so much resources around, with Kerala chapter leaders having a forum just specifically for you. With that, I would like to thank each one of you to be part of this and spending this time to listening to us. Thank you so much. Over to you, Nishad.
Yeah. Tony, I think you can start with your presentation.
Sure. Please let me know once you are able to see the slides.
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So it's a great opportunity. Thank you, Shine, for the wonderful session. You really set the context. As you rightly mentioned, the PMI and the PMI Kerala chapter is here to help the construction professional to upskill and also to network and be part of the community. And let us all work together to make this construction industry more effective and efficient. So this is an ongoing series, and as we are committed to the construction industry to help you to upskill your professionals, we are conducting this webinar as a part of our educational awareness. And as Shine mentioned, this is also a part of our PMI-SCP course. This is actually the second course in there's no sequence for you to go for the PMI-SCP preparation, but of course, out of the 4 courses, when you list it, this is coming in the second one. So just slides moving now. Okay. So there are 4 fundamental courses are there for the PMI-SCP capstone exam. Like Shine mentioned, we got a PMI-SCP and the PMI-SCP. PMI-SCP is required for you to undergo the 4 different courses. And then once you completed all the 4 different courses, then you need to go for the exam to get the PMI-SCP certification. Once you have the PMI-SCP certification, then you have to learn another 3 courses to get the PMI senior construction professional, which doesn't have any further exam for it. So last time, what we have done is we have gone through the course named as a construction project communication. Just a quick recap. I don't want to get deeper into it, but just a recap in a very high level. I hope those who attended remembering this is a combined knowledge of a project management body of knowledge by the PMI, which is talking about the stakeholder management, the governance structures, and putting the project communication protocol, everything together with the people factors and the collaboration opportunities like active listening, OBEA, and the commitment-based management from the lean concepts and lean thinking. Again, combined with the data-driven approach by the CII, which is the Construction Industry Institute US, which is talking about the project management information systems and the evidence-based compass tools and everything. So like again, Shine mentioned, the entire course has been prepared not just by this institute. It is been contributed by the various organizations and the volunteers across globe. So the best practices from the industries are being brought in to solve the problems identified in the projects on an ongoing basis. Now coming to the second course, which the focus for today is the construction interface management. And here you can see that the word interface management, even though it is not so familiar with the Asian and the Middle East market, maybe very few people might be know about it. But when I will start explaining and when I'm getting into the details, I'm quite sure that you all can connect with your day-to-day challenges, your problems, and some of you might have already having this best practices in your project and in your organization. So what does the Project Management Institute, again in combination with the Lean Construction Institute and CA, and from a contribution from all across the globe, is done is taken the various best practices and taken the various approaches on how does these interfaces are handled, and that has been brought as a well-structured course for the people. So this is actually a 2-day course if you're taking it as an instructor-led program, whereas I'm going to give the gist of it in another 30 to 40 minutes. So you know that it is going to, it's going to be like maybe, the scratching the surface, or maybe the tip of the iceberg, or whatever we can call it. But I'll try to get some insight and some overview about it, and to try to create some curiosity, at least in you, to seek the importance of interface management and then try to practice in your project. So in the course, whereas these are the areas which has been covered, like taking through the life cycle, the attributes and the tools, and how to effectively manage, and the capabilities required to handle the interface management, everything are in-depth being covered in the courses itself. Let's start with a very simple understanding of what is the interface management. And as many of you might be aware, one second, let me just pull up this. Okay. So the interface management it's nothing but, in a very simple way, we can say that it is managing the communication relationship and deliverable between two or more interfaces. So we can see that it is a nothing but we are talking about how does the coordination, collaboration, and the communication between the parties, or between the trades, or between the different organizations. So now, how do you classify it? How do you categorize it? How do you differentiate it? That all is coming in the upcoming slides. A very important part to remember here is to have a project success, we need to have an effective interface management. If you don't have the interface management, you will be able to see a lot of challenges in a construction project. Now, the construction projects are one of the complex in all the projects compared to IT, manufacturing, and banking, or any other projects where the project management is being deployed. And why that construction projects are more complex is because the number of parties involved in this. We can see that at any project, you will see a minimum 5 or 6 different design and engineering consultants, or maybe consulting organizations will be there. Maybe 20 or 25 different contractors, or subcontractors, or suppliers will be there. And this number can exceed based on the different pricing models. Sometimes in certain projects in India, or in this part of the world, we can see that you will have maybe 60 to 70 subcontractors itself will be there. Now, if any work which having a relation, and especially the construction is a network of different activities. So one activity having an interface with the another activity, if that work is not happening, you know that what is the impact is going to having in a project. Like, your productivity is getting lost, and your work is not progressing, and that creating a cascading delays and everything. So the interface management is a very important aspect in that manner in a construction project. And it's from the beginning of a construction, the interface management is there. But when it is got some structured way, or in a systematic way to look into that is, on a recorded version, we have it is from a 1967 onwards. It's happened in aerospace and electric projects. And then from there, it has been something like a contacts points are identified between the interfacing parties, and then identifying the corresponding issues and everything. So that's somewhere, we can say that the formal way of the interface management is started in a construction project. The objective is very simple. We have to get away from the potential risk by ensuring that a proper handoff is happening between any interface points. Second is, because we have established everything, now we have very clear responsibility between the 2 or 3 different entities in that. Now, this is very important area you need to realize, that is the interface management is not a standalone or a silo way of looking into the project. Now you have gone through the communication management course insight, and now we are in the second course. Here itself you can see that the connection between the both, when you are establishing an interface management in an OBEA where the project information is visible to all the people, where all the collaborations are happening in one room, and where you are using a commitment based management to see that the potential handoffs are very clearly defined between the parties, and it has been agreed by the delivering party, and it has been monitored continuously, and ensuring that active listenings are happening in a project where you are able to control it in a very way. So in similar way, when you started connecting the different concepts and different management practices, what you're going to learn in each courses to other effective tools and techniques and practices in the project management, that is when you will start seeing that your skill is getting upskilled, and then you are able to deliver the projects in a more efficient manner. So let's move forward, and this is one of the study which is, or a research conducted by CII in 2014. They studied the impact of interface management across 45 mega projects, and you'll be surprised to see that where the matured interface management systems are experienced, only 4% increase has happened in the cost, whereas the projects without a mature interface management experienced a 18% increases. Now, what do you mean by maturity, and how do you establish everything? It has been well discussed in the course. I'll try to give a gist of that as we go. Now, there are different way we can look at the interface. There are different classification, different types, and different categories are there. I'll just try to take it a quick run through of each one of it. So it's a very familiar for us when you're talking about any interface. The inter-project interface comes into your mind first. What is the inter-project interface? This is where it is between the different stakeholders are directly involved in a project. Now, the very best example is the owner, contractor, consultant. These are the people directly involved in a project, right? Now, you can see that the large part, in roughly we can say that, 80 to 90% of the project interfaces are going to happen between these parties. So once you are able to stabilize all this area, now at this moment, we may be talking about maybe some battery limits, or maybe some coordination points and everything, or maybe some high level milestones. But many projects, what I have come across is it doesn't have a well established interface management strategy, which is very well defined or identified in the early stages of a project during the conceptualization or in a pre-construction stages, and been closely monitored in that. And that lacking is where clearly reflecting in a construction project every time. Now, coming to another classification is the intra-project interface, and this is where it is happening within the independent stakeholders, like in an engineering and procurement of one particular contract itself. And today you can see that those are in a construction project. You can see that this is another critical area where most of the miscommunication and the delays are happening. I have come across some experience where in one of the project I was part of it, or one of the organization which I was helping to improve in a performance, whereas a project manager have to take the designer who sits in the first floor of the head office, and the procurement person is sitting in the other floor of the offices. The project manager have to take both of them into a conference call to resolve the problems which is happening, a challenge between the engineering and the procurement, because unless until you close engineering, you cannot proceed with the procurement. Now, unless until you complete the procurement, you cannot execute the work. So the intra-project interfaces are also very critical in construction project, and it's very important for us to identify the points as and when it is required. So when you're talking about the intra-project interfaces, we may not have to predefine in the beginning. It can go as we go. Probably a look-ahead planning will have maybe you look and say that maybe 6 weeks, or maybe depends on the project, or maybe in a phase planning you can talk about a 9 months ahead what are the interconnections are required and everything. So this is something and inside the organization you can able to do it. The last but not the least is extra project interface, where the interface between the project stakeholders and other organizations that are not directly involved in an execution. Now, several times we can see that even though it is only 10% or maybe less than 10% of the total interfaces are falling under this category, this is where we are facing a large or a huge delays in the construction project. Especially if you take it in an Indian area, in Indian country as a construction project or in a government project, almost all the public project where having delays, if you analyze, you can see that mostly it is related to the permits and approvals, and maybe land acquires, or maybe getting some environmental approvals. So this is a common problems in several construction projects. We design, we submit to the government, then they say, put a comment, and then we realize that, oh, there is a law which is preventing us to do in that way. So now let us rework it, or let us work around it and then find a way. Now that's going to take a long time. So that means the interface is not properly been identified, not been properly handled in that. So this kind of a classification and in-depth going in the beginning and the different stages, that is going to help a construction project to clearly handle the interfaces in a structured way. Now, coming to another view or a perspective, what are the types of interfaces which are there? One is straightforward, the soft interfaces, where most of the exchanging information like a design criteria, the clearances between the different stakeholders, everything are referred. The hard interface is represent the physical connection between the two or more components or in a system. Then internal interface identified within the single scope of a work, and the external interface identified between the 2 or 3 different scope of a work. Now, the point here is we need to identify each interfaces, and that interfaces points need to be clearly defined at appropriate time. I will not say that all the interfaces need to be very well clearly defined in the very early stages. There may be, like, for example, a simple example in a construction we can see is always there is a civil and electrical work will be there. And these are the small interface points, but which will happen. You do the civil work, then electrical comes, then completing the electrical works, again the civil comes. So it can be a dry, or it's a wet wall, or it can be conduiting, it can be ducting. So what are the activities? There's a lot of small interfaces are happening. So that doesn't need some kind of a huge effort in the beginning of a project, but it need to be done in the week or 1 week before the work, very clearly defining. But the similar approach need to be applied in that area. So any work or anything, whether it's a soft or hard contact point between the two independent interface stakeholders, an interface point has to be clearly defined at appropriate time, and that responsibility need to be clearly assigned for the people and move forward. So today what we are doing is we are leaving maybe one coordination person, or maybe putting someone in the flow to take care of this coordination points and interface points and move forward. We engage maybe one licensing people to deal with the government, and when they come back with the problem, we address it. It's all mostly what I can experience or sense is we are more going into a reactive way of handling the problems which are coming from the interfaces, rather than we proactively looking into the various interfaces and how does the interface, if it is not handled, are affecting our problems or projects and everything, and finding a solution and moving forward. So coming to another interface perspective, this is talking about the interface categories. Now the interface categories are like a physical work, or is it being functionally, or a contractually, or organization wise knowledge, resources, social, static, or a dynamic. Now, the static is something, it's a very clear definition. We are, for example, we are defined from a design to procurement, how the process need to be moved. We have a very clear, crystal clear process will be defined here. So the interfaces are more or less clear in that area. But whereas a dynamic means maybe at the time of a testing and commissioning only, you will get evolved that how does the interface is going to be handled. So in a project, these are the different way we can categorize interfaces and move forward. So the important point here, I mean, coming in a perspective of managing the interface management is we need to get a clear understanding about how does these interfaces are going to happen it, and we need to have a clear understanding. So we can call it as in an interface agreement form need to be established. So it is the recommended way to do that. And finally, you can have an interface data register that will help us to see that whether all these interfaces, whatever we discussed till now, is being properly maintained and controlled at appropriate time. Now, what is the benefit of implementing this effective interface management in the construction projects? Again, I'm taking a reference from the research conducted by the Construction Industry Institute. Number one, it is an increased stakeholder alignment. Number two, a facilitated communication across the project. Three, improved real-time visibility and oversight. And last but not the least is the proactive risk mitigation. Now, it's a very straightforward. Now, I want to connect it to the OBEA and I want to connect it to the communication management. There are certain other area I can connect it like class planner systems and the risk management and everything. I'm not going to do that since we have discussed about that so far. But just try to connect with the OBEA, for example. Now, if all these interface points are identified, and the OBEA is a mindset and it is a space where all the people are coming together and having a collaborative discussions, and we are using an active listening. We are listening to the people who are going to be getting executed and going to get affected. And we are having a commitment-based management to track the requirements and the commitment by the each trades and everything. Now, you can see that when you have the clear establishment of the interfaces, and that is being communicated across the project in a structured way, and you have a clear visibility and oversight of what is going to happen. So all these informations are available in one location, which is visible to the people or the stakeholders across the project, and they are doing a proactive risk mitigation. Today, when the interfaces are failing, we get into a delay, we get into a lack of work front, we struggle and we complain and we firefight and we put it back. Whereas with the proper interface management identifications and being discussed as a collaborative way, that is going to really help us to advance the construction the way which we are firefighting today and trying to complete and deliver to the end customer. Now, how does this has been evolved and how does this has been measured and how does this has been taken up into a matured way? There is a term or there's a model which is proposed by the CII in the PMI construction course. You will be able to clearly see that. There are 4 different areas which the maturity has been defined. One is in a business process, the way in which the interface management is implemented in a project. Second is the tools and systems, how it is being used. Third is how do you engage the qualified people and the practitioners. And last but not the least is sustaining the culture. How does the interface managements are handled through in a sustaining manner in an organization? Is it only one project manager is good and he's able to identify everything? Or is it in a structured way, it is being embedded into the organization and project's way of doing it and making it as a routine part of the project execution? So now if you look at in our part of the world, it all depends on the project director or a one person, like client representation or whoever is that one single person who is in the project. If he is on top of everything, all the coordination, all the interfaces, everything will happen very nice. If not, you will see that a lot of bits and pieces being kept loose and there will be a firefighting towards end of a project. Now, this interface management maturity model, I'm not getting into the depth of all the details and everything. I'll just show one sample or one small view of how it is being presented in the course. It's been defined as a, for example, take the maturity model for enabling tools. That's been started from a stage 0 to stage 4, whereas a stage 0 is talking about a very traditional means of communicating and tracking issues through emails, file folders, and lists. Now you can see that majority of the construction projects are kind of falling into the stage 0, and very rarely or limitedly we can see that at least, okay, there is a list every time when a new contractor is coming or 2 different contractors are coming, at least we clearly define that and we create some kind of an Excel or something, creating a database of the interfaces. And usually that also does only in a very high level. So the stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 shows the more maturity in terms of how you use the automated systems, and then how you really connecting with the schedules and change management and risk management system, etc. So similarly, this maturity model has been developed for business processes, sustaining culture, and then qualified people and practitioners engaged in the construction project in terms of measuring or understanding the interface management maturity in a construction project. Also, there is a very interesting area which the course is referring, and the CIA has been introduced, is project interface risk impact metrics. Now, when you approach a project, what level of a the interface management you need to go for it? You need to go for a formal interface management, or you need to go for an informal, or you need to go for a least formal way. So based on the project interface complexity or a risk in the project, and based on the project business impact, an organization can choose it. So this is one of the model which is presented in the course, which is talking about how does we can take a high level decision making to say that to what extent of the interface management can be gone for it. This is actually been referred in line. It's not actually taking direct reference, but in line with the interface complexity assessment tool, ICAT. What ICAT does and what the PIRI do is slightly different. The ICAT is talking about how does the interfaces points in a project perspective. Like for example, two different stakeholders are there engaged in a project. Probably the designer is from Germany, and the procurement maybe from some other nation. So these two people, if they have any prior organizational interactions, and there are some language challenges, is there any cultural problem? So there is a predefined way of assessing it, and that assessment will help us to see that whether the risk is falling under the low, medium, or high category. So we will be helping us to see that what level of the integrations, the interface management is required to ensuring a smooth communication, smooth coordination, smooth scope exchange, and everything can happen between the different stakeholders in the project. So just keep it in a very high level, like ICAT is used in a project perspective, whereas the PIR is used in our organizational perspective. Now, coming to another topic here is the interface management system. Like interface management system, this is a systematic approach to identify and handle the interfaces in a kind of a critical areas, like as a life cycle. So there are different steps or stages are there, and this need to be done for all the interfaces. Now, to handle it, whether it is through an automation or in whichever way, that is where the maturity model and the formal or informal way you want to do it will guide you to take a decisions and then move forward. So to take the steps, it's an identification, then you have to document it. We have to ensuring that this is being communicated and transferred as part of the packages, so that all the stakeholders are clearly aware of these interface points. And communications are very important to sustaining that to the status of which is being communicated, and being visually available for all the people to ensuring that all are on the same page. That is helping us to monitor and controlling through the structured way. And finally, the interfaces are closed, ensuring that there is nothing has been left or nothing has been coming back to you at some point of time to creating as a showstopper for a project and moving forward. So there is a clear roadmap has been provided in the construction certification course. The clear roadmap very clearly establishing that in the front-end planning phases, what need to be done in the feasibility, in a concept stage, in a detailed stage, what level of interface management, like for example, in a detailed scope itself, you need to identify the stakeholder which are already identified, and additionally how many people are required. And that's where you are clearly developing the interface management strategy, and to identifying and aligning, and the soft interfaces where need to be handled and everything. So the course is giving a clear roadmap on how does the interface management implementation is appropriate based on the various stages, and that is going to help the teams to have a very clear clarity on how to do it. Now, these interfaces can be identified at the time of execution, just one day before the execution, or maybe once the problems happen, then you identify and you can go back and say that this is not my scope. This is where someone have to be delivered. Then only I can take it over from there and everything. But then, you more into firefighting, or your result or your returns will be very low. The time you do it from the very early stages of a project as it is being defined, that is when you see that the more value is going to give to the project, and we could able to control the time, cost, and the quality of the project in a more sustainable manner here. So in a very short, to conclude the points of what all we discussed till now, once you take over or go through this interface management courses and in a structure of how does it can be applied it in a project, it is going to give us a very deep understanding about the interface management, number one. Number two, it help you to understand the benefits and importance of it, and so that you can employ or you can effectively use it in your project. That will help us to prepare that how we can, this interface management can be put it in a project, and using the tools and techniques and the processes. And ultimately, it will help you to see that you can implement this interface management strategies for a successful outcome. So instead of a firefighting, it's more helping us to do it in a more proactive way to manage the construction project in a more efficient and effective manner. So this is a very, very high level of talking about the interface management. Like I mentioned, it may be only the tip of the iceberg or scratching the surfaces. We will give you more detailed and in-depth the courses as part of the certification preparation programs, which we'll be talking later. And just to continue our journey on the certification programs, this is the third course which I was referring, the scope and change management. Probably we'll be doing another webinar on each one of it. Like the next one may be the scope and change order. We have to just work on it. And the fourth one is the contract and risk management. Now you can see that as a construction professional, all these are very important to us. And this is what exactly the PMI is done to the construction industry by creating small courses like Shine mentioned, and then clipping it together for making to evaluate that the professionals are really understood the concepts, and if they understood, okay, they are given a certification called as a PMI construction professional. You understand all the 7 courses clearly, then you get a senior construction professional certification. So the senior construction professional required to go through additional 3 courses, the performance and the material management, and the technology and the innovation, which we are very important for the industry today. And last but not the least is the execution planning, where the advanced work packaging and the last planner system from the lean constructions all are detailed explained. And also the closing, how do you closing and handing over a project through in a CII approach in a construction project. So this what is giving a quick high level overview of the PMI construction professional. If you are taking the 4 courses online, there is usually it takes around 24 hours. And if you are taking an instructor-led program, it is taking around required around 8 days. We are trying to put it in a just thinking or brainstorming how to put it in a 5 days to make it more more convenient for all the participants. So we are working on it, and we'll be announcing the details shortly. So one request to all of you is like Shine mentioned, there are 2-3 areas which are focusing is upskilling, having a community and networking and everything. So my colleague Cynthia will be talking about what all we can do it, part of it. You can be, you can express your interest on if you are trying to, or if you are planning to think about, if you are planning to taking the PMI-SCP certifications, whether you are planning online courses, you need some supporting hands, we can help you. You are planning to take the entire courses, then we can help you. Or if you're just looking at only the networking and be part of the community, there is an option for you. So I'll be requesting Cynthia to share that detail soon. But before that, now, since we completed both sessions, I request Shine also to just switch on your video. And then if you have any questions, any queries, please feel free to ask. Nishad, if any questions are already in the chat box, please read out and we will try to answer it for the benefit of the participants.
We do not have any questions as of now. Please raise your hand so that we can go in a clean manner. Nothing, no questions yet. Please, participants, okay, we have somebody. Yes, please. The name is not there, it's just a number.
You can read out the question if
no, you can speak. It is 26415283957.
there's a right hand raised. Okay, they can unmute.
Yeah. Cynthia, can we enable?
Yeah,
Yes. You are.
Yeah, Madam Suman sir. The interference communications you are saying, sir. Interference communication means
interface management you are talking, or sorry, can you just
management communications. So coordinating to the all the construction activity or coordinating to the all the architect.
Okay, see, like, when you are talking about a different interfaces,
Yes.
everything, like as a construction project, you take it, everything will come. Now we have to categorize and classify, and then from there we have to, start focusing and then try to solve it and then move forward.
Yes.
So this is where a clear strategy is required. From the beginning, we need to do it.
Okay, sir. I'm asking is where the industrial projects is very different. When data centers is very, very different. When
Every projects are different. Completely agree.
Airport system is very different. So that's why. So is there any particular semantic drawing is there? So so that it's very understandable, even if a lesson learned.
Okay.
Interface manager, you have to coordinate each and every stakeholder. Suppose if you are constructing the industry, okay, that time you have to concentrate on what are the equipments they are going to install it, okay, how much power requirement is required, what are the facilities they need to require. So you have to coordinate in terms of constructive perspective, as well as what are the productions. You see, the project is not only that is a start and end. Okay, after the production operation team will take over the industrial facilities. So what are the requirements for them also? Because we are doing construction as per our standard, we can construct the plant as well. Okay. But even though if you are maintaining the proper standard, everything, some of the areas it may not suitable for the operation requirement. So we have to discuss with the operation team. Their industrial team also will be there, because each and every factory there is an industrial team there. So we have to discuss about the industrial manager. Many of the stakeholders we have to coordinate. Then only we can deliver the proper. We can deliver the project.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
thank you. I think the question is there any interface details are being elaborated for a different type of industries, and is it available, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be, yeah, I hope, more details will be surfaced as we go as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There was a
Thank
few
you.
more hands were raised. I think I can see. Nihal, your mic is on. You can ask. I think it's not connected. Probably we can ask the Sumesh.
You can type in the chat box also, Nihal. In the meantime, we'll go to Sumesh.
Yeah, thank you for the sessions. I want to ask you regarding the proactive risk mitigation you are talking about. What methods are the best way for the early identification of the risk to avoid the uncertainties in the project?
See, the best way when we are talking is a collaborative approach only. Like when the interfaces are identified and you are getting engaged the people, like for example, if it is a long lead items or a work which need to be happen in the 9th months or in a 10th month. So when you're having a collaborative discussions where the different entities are available to speak about where it can go wrong and where it needs some support from the other people. So what typically happen is, if the design has been done without considering the procurement challenges or the constructability challenges, now that will come back to the people at a later stage. So if a collaborative approach, if it is there, where the people are able to pull up their challenges and putting into their experience into a kind of a request in the well in advanced form, that is where we'll see the risk identification in a more proactive manner. If one person is sitting and trying to list down all the risk and then trying to work it on, many times we will see that the many uncertainties are unidentified in the early stages, and when it is happened, the people will get into firefighting and move forward. So the best approach I say is the collaborative approach.
Okay, thank you. Now, I want to ask you regarding that for improving the alignment of coordination, if PMI has introduced any tools for that?
I mean, the risk management itself is a separate an area we can talk in detail, like which we'll be discussing probably in another second or third or fourth webinar we'll be talking about it. So various risk management methodology which the PMI is suggesting and the CI is referring, it's been clearly integrated into this area. It is there, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Somesh. Tony, I have Nihal's question. So his question is, I understand 50% of the study content is about contract administration. Is it in general form of contract documents or very specific like FIDIC?
See the contract forms now, there are FIDIC, there are NEC, new engineering contracts by, I think it's ICA, right? So there are various contract forms are there. And there are now coming the integrated project delivery where the contracts are given priority with in the very well beginning, and everyone is working on one single contract also. So it's again depends on the projects and the organizations. Yes, the unfortunate or the fortunate part in construction is too much focus on a contract. We create thousands of pages in a contract which people never reads or understand, and then we we spend a lot of time in arguing and then proving that whether written in the contract is right or wrong. So I'm not coming to a point where whether it is right or wrong, but yeah, I mean, it's one of the challenges which the industry is facing. A collaborative and the integrated models which are coming up in the new world are slightly trying to consider how does this contracts can be easily written or easily understand in the early stages. So the approach or the suggested way in the new or the put forward way of working in a construction is, can we get the stakeholders well in advance or in the early stages to have a collaborative discussion and agree it and then moving forward? So all these tools you started seeing is, it is going to help you to predefine and pre-understand these challenges and then work it on. Now, for example, this interface management, what we are talking is, it is talking about, can we identify this potential trouble areas well in advance and then handle it and move forward. So you want to get it into the contract? Yes, we can get it. Or you can say that the contract, we can say that this need to be identified and then move forward. That is another way to handle it. Did I answer it, Nishan?
I hope so. Nihal, is that okay for you? Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Any written questions or anyone else?
No written questions in particular. Dear participants, any more questions? Oh, yes.
Nisha, there is a question from Shivakumar mentioning, are there any special guidelines and limitation derived by PMBOK 7? Shivkumar, could you be a little more specific on that?
Yeah, I think I missed that. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Shivkumar, if you can come on the mic and let us know about it.
See, the till he comes, I'll just try to answer what I understand is the PMBOK 7. It's a very well defined way of taking the project as a holistic way, considering the agile and the traditional project management. Whereas when you come to a construction, we have certain unique problems like the interface is one area, the contract is another area, the procurement and the material management is another area. But whereas in a general project management, you look at they handle it in a different way. So always we feel like construction is a different animal altogether to handle it. And that what is being addressed through the specific PMI-SCP certification. Now, I keep on repeating, and you can also realize it. There's a lot of knowledge in a project management, the PMBOK, what we have it. It is being clubbed now with the data-driven approach by the CIA and the people-driven approach of the lean. Now you can see that is where it's more of a blended one. So the PMI-CP is, I will say that probably around 30 to 40% of what the PMBOK is been referring or PMBOK is been established in supporting with the other concepts and other best practices developed with the other institutes and industries in the construction industry. So that is the way this particular course is being defined or blended.
We have Prakash.
Yes, sir. Is there any tools and techniques used in PMI construction for a vendor or sub-vendors which are working in a different time zone? Means how to interface between the vendor or sub-vendor when the both are working in a different time zone?
There is a reference and there's a detail, like when you do this interface management, that assessment which I've mentioned, the ICAT and all, that will help you to identify the complexity. And then there is a guideline has been provided, like how do you handle this area, and it's more now. See, it is a not just only the interface. You have to look into the communication management. You have to look into the planning, like the execution planning area. So you have to look into the various area to solve that problems and move forward. But to answer, yes, it is been identified and discussed in the course detail.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prakash.
I could see a few more questions in that area, like, or is it been?
I think no further questions in the chat.
Okay, so I think yes, can be. I will stop the slides. If someone want to join the LinkedIn group, it has been driven by the PMI. So you can join the LinkedIn group and you can ask all your questions related to that. And there will be a lot of PMI-SCP certified professionals and the ATPs and different construction ambassadors are there. So let me thank you to Shine. Shine, you want to add something before we pass it to Cynthia?
No, I would just thank everybody to have taken time, and this is very much the need of the hour. We have Tony, who has spent time in terms of taken up a knowledge area where he has shared the entire domain with you all, and I think this overview will help you. And thanks to Kerala chapter leaders here who are doing this series for the construction practitioners, and kudos to them, and really enjoyed being a part of this. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Okay, so let me take a minute more. I just want to thank all the construction ambassadors. We got a global PMI Global Construction Ambassadors program is running, which many of you might be aware. So there are many construction ambassadors are also present here. So thank you everyone for the support and appreciate your presence here. So yes, to Cynthia.
Thank you. We have Ms. Cynthia Surendran from PMI Kerala chapter. She is a Vice President for Education. She has an important announcement. Cynthia.
Yep. Thank you, Nishad. Hello all. Our speakers have provided you an insight of the PMI offerings for the construction industry, and it's time for us to take a look at what PMI Kerala chapter is bringing to the table. So PMI Kerala chapter is planning to roll out 2 courses, PMI-CP certification preparatory course and PMI-CP exam preparation support. You can scan the QR code displayed on the screen. It is a 2-minute survey to capture your interest on these courses, as well as for being part of a construction forum. There is a dedicated WhatsApp group. So we have been seeing questions regarding the recorded version of the session as well as the previous session. So by being part of this WhatsApp group, you will get links to that. So we encourage you to be a member of that. So if you have attended the survey as part of our last session, please feel free to skip it. It's the same one. Coming back to the courses, PMI-CP certification preparatory course will provide full-fledged training and support throughout your certification journey. The PMI-CP exam preparation support will be focusing on those who have already completed their e-learnings but yet to complete the certification exam. So once again, on behalf of PMI Kerala chapter, I request you to attend the survey, share your interest, and allow us to serve you further. And thank you to Tony and Shine for your time. Over to Nishad.
Thank you, Cynthia. We are coming to the end of the session. Before I go to the vote of thanks, I'd request all the participants to please come on the cam. I would like to take a small snap of all of you. All those who are available, please.
It will be great to those who can switch on your video cam so that we'll get a more faces into names. Okay,
Yeah,
I think
we are having lots of faces coming up.
Yeah, some good numbers are coming. Are we able to capture all the faces in one screen, or
no, we will not be able to capture all in one screen.
Okay. And also many are staggered, like, you know, okay. Okay, I think pretty good. Yeah, I think you can capture now.
Give me a few moments, friends, because we have a lot of members joined for today's session. Video codes will be shared after the presentation. Please stay online. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nishad.
So I have Mr.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, Shine. Thank you, Tony. I have Mr. Johnson Samuel, who is our AVP for academic outreach. He is also coordinating from PMI Kerala for this community. Johnson, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Nishad. I guess I could see, even though it is late hours in many parts of the world, and it could be early morning in some locations. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank each one of you. We had 90 plus attendees at many times listening and engrossed in this knowledge sharing session. And that's exactly what PMI Kerala chapter has been envisioning. So you get a good understanding of what it's all about. And learning is a continuous process, and we all learn every day. And today what you have heard from the two presenters is, let me go to Shine Sahadevan first. He gave a true outlook of what the future is going to be for project management personnel and what is the importance and the requirement for upskilling your areas. I mean, technical knowledge alone is not enough when we talk about project management. There are a lot of skill sets, and that's what he has highlighted throughout his session. And we would like to take a moment to acknowledge your participation, sharing your words of wisdom. Thank you, Shaheen, from all of us from the ENC Forum from PMI Kerala chapter.
Thank you so much, sir.
We had an in-depth, I would say, a deep dive into the construction professional today about the interface management. And that's a very specific area, but the more we understand about the different aspects of it, you will see that how important role it can do in an actual project execution. I mean, the interface management starts from very conceptual stage through the detail engineering, and people are familiar. And this is something which we cannot be ignored. And so today we understood it and how the interface management process and the different aspects of it as highlighted in the construction professional management certification. Thank you, Tony Jacob, for taking, I would say, very in-depth understanding. You shared your knowledge of wisdom. You shared the details in a manner which all of us could follow and understand. And I could see the long silence. I couldn't hear any technical disturbance throughout the session, which means people are listening and following. And I'm sure they were taking notes as well. So thank you, Tony, for again making this knowledge sharing session a successful one. We appreciate it from PMI Kerala chapter, specifically from the ENC Forum. We also have Ms. Cynthia with us, and she has been, I would say, the backbone pillar of PMI Kerala chapter and has been working behind the scenes and coordinating the various initiatives of PMI Kerala chapter. Thank you, Cynthia ma'am, for your valuable time and the support. We heard Nishad joined from Qatar and steering this whole program in such a way that it is really entertaining, as well as we have a good interest for the participants to continue. He did the job as an MC very professionally, and we want to appreciate the help. Thank you, Nishad, for having your time and support for this knowledge sharing session. And
thank you, Johnson.
As I mentioned at the very beginning, it is the participants from across the globe, and it is truly a global session, because I could see people typing good morning, good evening, and that's what matters. I mean, the 90+ attendees engrossed to listen, and which shows their passion in understanding the specifics of interface management in particular. And that's what today's session able to deliver. And we are again grateful to you. We're looking forward to you in our future sessions, and we'll keep you posted. And as mentioned, come back and join our WhatsApp community, and you'll be able to get the link of the sessions recording and further communications. Once again, thank you all, and looking forward to see you all in the future sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnson, sir. So once again, thanking all the participants to join this wonderful event. Thank you.
Nishad, I would like to mention a word of appreciation for our finance director, the finance person. I would say without the finance, the PMI chapter cannot survive. So thank you, Joji, for taking time and kicking off today's session. Appreciate the support.
Definitely. Thank you again, Johnson, sir. Thanks to all the participants to join this wonderful session. Thanks to both the wonderful speakers to shed such an informative session. So here we go to the main item. Everybody was waiting for the PDU claim code. I'll keep this on screen for a few minutes. You can note it down or take a photograph. And we have questions to provide the link for the WhatsApp group. Mr. Tony has shared Google form to provide your responses. Please do respond to the form.
One second, Nishad. I think the people got confused. So let's just clarify. So this feedback form, there is a question asking whether you want to join the WhatsApp group or not. So if you are providing the details, then the administrator will reach out to the respective people to make them join in the group. So we are not sharing the WhatsApp group, for example, because we want to keep this as a little controlled group, not like we are opening for everyone, but we want to keep it a little controlled. So we are not giving the link to join. You have to express your interest, and then as part of it,
our admin will get back to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and just one thing to add, probably not everyone has captured the QR code, so we'll send it over the mail as well, so you can use the survey link.
And for the video recordings also, please get in touch with any of the PMI Kerala board members. You will be routed directly to us, and we will share the links. So thank you, everyone. I'll keep this PDU claim code for a minute, and then I will sign off. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Shine. Thank you,
Thank
Johnson,
you very much.
sir. Thank you,
So those are going to sleep, good night. Those are going to have a day, have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Nishad, and thank you, Tony. Bye.
Thank you, Sumesh. I hope everybody has noted the PDU claim code. That's it from PMI Kerala chapter for today. Bye.
Bye for now.